Hello, welcome to Matters of Decorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. I once read a poster which read, "A clean desk is a sign of a cluttered mind." That is not what I have found to be the case. Rarely do you get to see much of the environment around me as I film these. That is mostly because I am a slob. If you've seen the Dungeon Masters, this is no surprise. Um, I have never really been able to maintain a clean environment around myself. I have people for that. More to the point, I have people who love me and who I appreciate, um, and who can't stand to see me in the squalor that I would normally keep myself in. So, yeah, I'm talking about Devin, maybe some other folks, but mostly Devin, who come over and from time to time see to it that I'm not wallowing in dead warthogs. That's actually almost a real possibility. Um, I can comfort myself only a little bit with the fact that my son, Andrew, keeps his room worse than I keep mine. And it's a cold comfort because he's like that, mostly because I'm like this. Sorry, Drew. My dad was like this. Um, if he did not definitively impose order on his local environment, his normal thought and work processes would just generate crap around him. I helped him clean out a couple of his offices, and I knew the workspace he kept in the home. He always had a home office aside from his offices at work because he wasn't the kind of man who couldn't bring it home with him. Um, this is an external sign of how my mind works. It hasn't gotten better recently. Now, I am suffering pretty badly from the chemo brain, um, which is a general term that is not a really fully diagnosable or understood condition where I do not have all of the mental acuity or function that I had before I underwent chemo and radiation. Go figure, they strapped me down to a table for 7 weeks and shot me in the throat with radioactive lasers. You gotta figure something's gonna happen. Not to mention the chemicals that they pumped through me to kill the cancer, because I was bigger than the cancer and could take them better, doesn't mean that they didn't affect me. So things have actually gotten more chaotic. I don't put crap away when I ought to. But this is how my brain functions. I don't get to nicely and orderly put my thoughts in a straight line and then knock things off the list one at a time. If only. I've tried that. Oh man, listing and check marks and Devin has been so good about helping me go through lists and this is what you need to do, this is what you need to get done. And if I was an accountant, maybe if I was just doing database entry as a form of career, yeah, okay, here's a set list of tasks. No, I've elected to be a creative. Oh man, if you know a creative person, an artist or a writer or even a game designer, um, someone who takes absolutely nothing and then imposes the stuff inside of their head on media so that they can share it, you give that person a hug. Like in a day or so, less if you can't go put this thing on pause and go hug the creatives that you know. If you are creative, oh, virtual hugs, and go hug another creative. Creatives need a lot of hugs. I need a lot of hugs. I imagine most creatives do. Because this isn't easy. If you are a trained and conditioned creative, which I used to be to some degree, you can set a goal, and that's one of the hardest things. Every time you sit down with nothing directly in front of you, there is this firing a starting pistol in the middle of a pile of cats event that happens. That every skill and talent you have has a little voice that says, use me right now. Use me. Every idea that you have fostered in the shower or going to sleep or driving to this market or taking a walk, all of those kind of jump up and put up a hand and say, I would like to be represented. And they're not already. They're not already for it. You can't tell that until you pick them up and turn them around and start looking at it. It's like, well, you're an idea, absolutely, and that's kind of an interesting idea. Is there a background? Is there a thought process behind you yet? Can I justify putting the effort into this as opposed to other than that? And if you have one skill set, it's bad. It's bad because you have all of these ideas and hopefully you have kept a listing of your inspirations and you can go back to some of your older ones that have had a time to cook on the back burner and go, okay, this is developed. If you have multiple skill sets, oh my God. I could write a game or a game supplement. I've been trying, it's stuff I'm trying to get back to. I could write a simple little one, but that means sitting down and working out every little detail that's going to go into it. And that means writing and page layout and doing art and the numbers and systems that go into it. It's 4 or 5 different tasks all in one. So that is going to be you got to have something ready to jump out onto the page if you're going to jump into that. I could do some animation. The classes that I've been taking this semester to help me, the more I work my brain, the better everything gets. And so that's another couple things. I could do some CGI. I could do some computer modeling. I'm still working on texturing. 3ds Max is a great program. It's not so great for doing specific texture work with, but if you also have access to Substance Painter, you can throw some interesting stuff together. I'm still learning this stuff, so I have stuff I want to make, but now I need to learn how to do the stuff to make the stuff that I want to make. And once I have that, then I can take that stuff and jump that in. For years. I mean, in between 2008 and 2015, I wrote 200 products. I wrote 200 products. And that's just the RPG stuff. I wrote a couple of novels and a couple of novellas. I wrote some dubious short fiction that if you really want to know about, I will tell you, but I'm not going to mention it again. I produced a fairly prodigious amount of work. Now, I don't even count these things because this is just me talking to you. I like these conversations. I don't count these as work. And doing all of that kind of gave me that background, that effort and work. It's kung fu. You got to do it to be able to do it. The more you do, the better you get. And my brain went away for a while and hasn't all come back yet. I haven't done enough kung fu to be back to doing kung fu. So here I get. I sit here and I generate the amount of chaos around me that just happens when I'm doing creative work. But now there's a much larger amount of chaos generated for much less work produced. Chaos is a byproduct of creation. It seems very cosmological and very deep and philosophical, but it's kind of how the brain functions. If you're a creative person that can maintain an orderly uh, environment while you are producing intellectual property, oh my God, give me a phone call, leave me a comment was the way to contact you. Find me on Facebook. I want to talk to you because I ain't got that. I never have. At my height of being able to just produce stuff off the top of my head, it wrecked the area around me. This is one reason that some people stay in my circle. Thank you, Devin, because they realize if I didn't have someone, I'd be up to here in clothes that needed to be put away in my closet and random medical waste because I'm a diabetic and matches and incense ash, papers and books. And, you know, I got the bookshelves back there. Very recently, I have my gaming collection up there, which covers the upper half of this wall. I have my bookshelves of reference and fiction and whatnot behind me at the moment in the white cubbies. And that's stuff I will pull out, reference, look at. You'll still see stuff around the office that I pulled out and just haven't put back yet. It's been 3 or 4 months, but I'll get around to it. Now, this is partially because imposing order takes time and energy. And physical effort hurts. That is my problem. That is my wrecked vertebra and herniated discs and asthma. And so it actively hurts me to have to stretch and crane and bend to pick stuff up and put stuff away. That not even being part of the case, it takes time and effort. I can sit down and over the course of, I can write 2,000 words in an hour. I used to be better than that. I'm working my speed back up, but right now I can write 2,000 words in an hour. So I can get 2,000 words out, or I can put some books away. I can get 2,000 words of fiction generated, or a couple of charts, or some 5 or 6 pages of a role-playing supplement, or I can put away my clothes. It is not a matter of not wanting to get the work done. It's not a matter of not wanting to actually see that I've got some control over my environment. It's a control over my environment is a close second to control over my creative flow. That I mentioned that creation doesn't happen on command. Man, when you have got your kung fu going, when you have developed your skills to the point where your creativity answers the call, that's a great place to be at. You can get there. I used to have a signal to myself. There used to be a television in this room, where my computer and filing cabinet are now. Uh, Big television, and I'd sit here and we'd watch Cartoon Network, and me and Mandy, me and Vic, sometimes all three of us sitting here, watched a lot of Dragon Ball and Nicktoons and old television series and occasionally movies. We put on some bad films, and I got in the habit of having the TV on. My mom has a little TV on when she's doing desktop publishing work. Need to have that extra channel of stuff, but it started taking up space. So I taught myself. There comes a time when the TV goes off and the music goes on, so that I've got a channel, I can take up my audio channel while I'm working, and that means work. TV goes off, music goes on, work. And I had projects in my head, and I had a list of stuff to do, and TV goes off, music goes on, boom. Taking the TV out of our room actually damaged that a little bit. I don't have that impetus. Granted, I could turn my monitor. I mean, my monitor is basically a television at this point in time. It's a 4K 40-inch monitor, 40-inch screen. It's also a Roku, and yeah, that's a television, and I could switch it off, but I prefer to use it as a monitor. And having and going to YouTube, I'm on my computer, so maybe a little YouTube. I gotta check Facebook again, and there's a whole new set of distractions, and those are harder for me to kick right now, so I need to rebuild the habits. Even then, I don't have the organization of thoughts in here ready to go out. Something jumps in my head, I've got that, but it can take a couple of hours to get to a point where it's ready to leave my head. And oh my God, if something stops me from getting it out, and that happens, folks need to talk to me, or something comes up, or I'm really focusing on something and something more important happens, or something that someone thinks is more important, and my attention is pulled away from that. That's the sad thing about ADHD, is that once you hyperfocus, if someone pulls you out of that, they haven't just, well, you can get right back to it. No, you can't. No, I can't. Someone pulls me out of that, it's broken. You have lost that. It's a train going at 100 miles an hour, and if someone grabs you and yanks you off of it so that they can deal with something else, by the time you are done dealing with that, no matter how long that took, you get back to those tracks and that train is gone. And then you'll spend a day or a week or longer trudging down the track, trying to find where it wrecked itself so you can get back on and try and start it up again. There is a set of blue lights incorporated into my bookshelves up here. A string of LEDs. I turn that on. That is a signal to the people around me that I'm hyper-focusing, that I am really dedicating myself to trying to get stuff done. That doesn't mean that they can't talk to me. That means that if they do, it had better be more important than what I am trying to do. I'm not going to judge what is more important to someone else as what is opposed to me. The people who regularly come into this office know how important my creation is to me, and my writing and my craft. This is what I do. This is my job. This is my career, for want of a better one. So they know that if they take me away from that, they are costing me 20 or 40 times as much time to do what I'm trying to get done as what they need to get done. It can be that important. I admit, stuff can be that important. There's family things, and there's uh, uh, administrative stuff, and paperwork, and medical stuff. Oh my God, there's medical stuff. And that's got to get taken care of. That's got to get taken care of. But if it is not something like that, there can be harsh words. And then there's the time that I close the door and turn on the red lights on that door, which are generally the I'm recording, don't disturb me, but can also mean you can only talk to me if I am on fire. Not if you're on fire. If you're on fire, you go deal with being on fire. You can only let me know if I'm on fire, because I won't notice at this point in time. Creativity is rough. It is rougher at the moment. I'm working on my kung fu, my classes, and just trying to get stuff produced a bit at a time. If you're been following along, you know that there's stuff I tried to get done in 2015 that I have still not gotten done because, well, the process is derailed badly, and the brain cells that had most of that process and ability either aren't there or aren't talking to the rest of my brain. But what do? Do some kung fu and try and get back to it. Thanks for following along on my creative ramble. Hopefully, you'll see the results of some of that kung fu and talents coming back over the next few months. I'm trying. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If you'd like to see these videos when they come out, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. If you do hit the subscribe button, you might want to hit the notification bell so you are alerted when these videos come out. If you would like to leave me a question or a comment, have experiences with your own creative process, or you know a creative individual who needs a hug, or if you're one of those orderly creative people and want to give me a hint or tip or two, leave me a comment. I love getting comments. You'll love leaving me one. If you really dug the video, I invite you to hit me up my Patreon page, www.patreon.com, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows me to make better videos more often. Thank you for your time and attention. I am Scott Corum. This is what matters to me, and I will see you next time on the next Matters of Decorum.